Dear friends, greetings. I wanted to share something happened last night. We've been discussing and meditating on the names of God. One of the names of God is He's a guide. He's such a good guide that He would lead us and guide us in all of our life. Last night, I was very tired. I worked yesterday and I was very tired. And right before I went to bed, maybe around 9:30, 10 o'clock, I started cooking. Then I just put the stove in slow and then went to, watch some news. And I was leaning on the couch. And then when I fell asleep. And then when I woke up, like maybe after an hour or so, I turned off the light and then I went to bed. So around 3:30 in the morning, I was in a deep sleep. I usually don't wake up when I go to sleep. I wake up only once in the morning. And so that's been my practice all along. But last night, in my deep sleep, I have my bedroom door was closed and I have my little table fan running. So there is no way I can hear or I can smell anything. But in my sleep, I'm smelling the strong smell in my sleep. Then the smell woke me up. Then without even thinking, I'm still sleepy. And without thinking, I just got up from my sleep and I started walking. And I followed the smell in the dark. I didn't turn on the light or anything. And I came to the kitchen, there, my stove and my pot I was cooking, it's almost smoking. And it was amazing when I turned on the light, it was just started smoking, the smoke coming out of all the food and that, it was all charred. And it was before even the smoke started filling my kitchen and the fire alarm goes on, the Lord already woke me up. And it was miracle. I still couldn't fathom how did that happen. I was in a deep sleep, but I could smell. In spite of when my husband woke this morning, and he came, he still couldn't smell it, but I could smell before the smoke started coming. I could smell. My first thought was these two little birds I have. This one is Jasmine, and this one is Lucy. You can see they always follow me around. They don't stay in cage. They're my pets. They're like my babies. They follow me around wherever I am. And so they go and sleep on the top of the refrigerator, which is right next to the stove. And if you know much about birds, like I know, the birds are very sensitive to smoke, the heat. So what could have happened, that smoke, that carbon monoxide or whatever that created in that smoke could have killed them. In no time, they could have choked and died. But it was so precious that when God, even though it was my carelessness, I left the stove on, and I was very tired yesterday, and I didn't even realize that the stove is on, and I went to bed. But when the stove started burning, the food started burning, and the smoke started coming out, before it filled the house, before the fire alarm went on, I was up. I'm already up, and I'm there. This is not the first time this happened to me. This happened to me so many times in my life. Sometimes the Lord will say, don't go. Sometimes the Lord will say, stay. Sometimes the Lord will say, wait. It's amazing how you wanted to walk with the Holy Spirit, who is our guide. Remember the story where when Jesus was crucified and all the disciples were scattered all over, and there were two disciples, they were going to the village of Emmaus. When they were going to that village, they were all perplexed. They don't know what the future is going to be. Now the only person they depended on, trusted on, the Messiah, Jesus, now he is crucified. What is tomorrow? They have no idea. They have no plan. They're just going and worrying, and God told me this, God told me that, but what happened now? But then right in the middle of it, Jesus joins them and tells them everything they need to know. Then later on, when they break communion with Jesus, he reveals himself to them. And they say something that's very important. Didn't you realize that when he spoke, our hearts weren't burning? That's the kind of God we serve. God is a tender, loving friend. He knows our down sitting. David writes in Psalm 139, he knows my down sitting and he knows my uprising. Even before a word come out of my mouth, he knows it all. So that's the kind of God we serve. He's our friend. He's our confidant. He's our guide. Last night could have turned out to be a disaster. When I woke up in the morning, these two of my dearest friends could have been dead, or maybe more damage. Maybe the house is on fire, or whatever the reason is. But even before the fire alarm went, God woke me up. So, and then I could go in, and I just still couldn't figure it out how I followed the smell in my sleep. God is our guide. Never, when you are in a crossroad, when you are wondering about tomorrow, always remember Jesus, the same Jesus, walked with those two disciples when they don't know what their future is, where to go, how to turn, which way to take. God met them where they are. There are times when we are in the darkest hours and in our, wondering where to turn, how to turn, where the future is going to be. God will always show up and guide you. But the key to that is you need to have a very close walk with the Lord. You can't just seek God casually. You have to make sure that He is a part of your life every day. Like David said, you know my down sitting, you know my uprising. Even before the words come out of my mouth, you know them all. That's the kind of lifestyle we need to live with Holy Spirit. We need to give Him room. We need to ask Him. We need to invite Him. We need to check with Him for everything. He should be our friend. He should be our guide. When we walk like that, God is faithful and true. This morning when we woke up, my husband and I, we just sat there and we thank God for His faithful guidance, that He never left us. And God says, I'll be always with you. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Even to the end of the world, I will be with you. That's His promise to us, dear friends. Take heart. This is Dr. Chitra Fells. God bless you.